Smackdown.
Morning, glory, and hallelujah, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. We are present and accounted for on this Thursday, the 10th day of April, 2025. My name is Nick. I present to you Radio's Big J.
Hello.
Good morning, Big J. Happy super summer Thursday to you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Looking at super sunny skies today, a high of about 81, 82 degrees, depending on who you talk to. We're near record highs for April the 10th. And then we kind of dip back down for the next couple of days. So it's like riding a roller coaster. But today's going to be one of those days where you're like, man, I might have to crank on the AC. You might have to try to get comfortable. Big J, you might have to take off that sweatshirt you're wearing.
At some point,
And you're going to be, did you bring your bike to work as promised?
No, I have to, now I got to take the car in after work to get serviced. Maintenance required, Nick.
The light is on. It needs its help. What do you need, like an oil change? Or is it like
it's way overdue.
Is it a milestone that you need to get some service done on the vehicle?
It's, way overdue.
All right. Well, then you'll miss out. Doesn't
20,000 miles overdue.
Oh, God, dude. You can't, you can still, like, take the bike out when you get home, right?
Yeah, of course, man.
Go on a little ride? Take it around the block a little bit?
Ride, slippity slide. I'm going to take a fantastic voyage.
Whatever you're up to today, see if you can't enjoy the outside a little bit, as it's going to be a beautiful day. And then again, the wind is going to be kicking up. We're going to be down back in the 50s over the weekend, but today is going to be one of those highlights of the week for sure. Maybe even an opportunity for you to get yourself $2,025. We got a little thing we like to call inflation domination. That's coming up a little bit after 9 o'clock, your first keyword of the day. We always appreciate you guys playing along and having some fun with us. And we have an opportunity for you to get in today's drawing, which should be cool. We also have a chance for you to qualify for Sonic Temple. We have Last Band Standing happening at 7:30 on the dot as well. Big J will have a multiple choice question for you about the bands featured in Sonic Temple, and you have to answer it correctly in order to get qualified and join us on April 28th at Barbarian and Brewing. Big J is going to give you a nerd alert today. We are going to go to hell. We got some headlines, so it should be a show that everybody is proud of.
Yay!
Let's see if we can do it. Kick things off with some Pearl Jam this morning on the Morning After on the X.
With Nick and Big J.
Big J, let's talk about your backyard for just a second. Not specifically.
Which backyard?
The actual place in which you reside.
Oh, okay.
The city of Middleton and the city of Star are going to have a third opportunity to try and pass a levy about the Star Middleton Fire District, Big J.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday. I'm like, we gotta get this done.
They're 0 for 2 so far on the ballot. They're once again putting together a $2.225 million levy to help staff a couple of new stations. These stations are built. They're ready to go. They cannot afford currently to staff these stations, and that is where the problem starts. I mean, listen, for the last, 15, 20 years, the Middleton Fire Department has had to operate like a rural fire department, but with the growth of the town exponentially over that time, it has seriously been understaffed for the situations that they face. They're talking about these particular stations going on about 1,500 calls a year, and they just don't have the people there to take the calls and run them and staff this stuff. According to the staff, to the Middleton Fire Department, according to staff limitations, they typically have to outsource both staff and equipment to other departments to address emergencies in the area, which takes them longer to get there, and that is a real problem. But for some reason, the residents of Middleton and Star have not passed this levy that's been going out for the last couple of years. Big J, you're a resident. What the hell?
Yeah, I've been voting yes. And
what do you think
I have friends who are firemen.
Yes.
In both of these departments, because they're shared. Like there's one in Star and there's one in Middleton, and they go back and forth. And I don't understand it. Yes, it adds to your damn tax bill, but it's like $20, $40 if we're being completely honest. And we have to have it. Do you want firemen to show up when your house is on fire or there's a medical emergency? And would you want that medical emergency to be taken care of as soon as possible so you don't end up dying? That's the difference. Just vote yes on the damn thing, you idiots.
Well, you have until next month to continue to stomp the grounds and shake hands and kiss babies like you just did to see if you can't change some people's minds. The vote will officially go in May of next month at some point. So you have an opportunity to go out there and get that vote on. So hopefully you do, and don't forget, because it's not your typical voting day, so you're gonna have to kind of, make it part of your thing.
Maybe the kind of language that the department should be using is the kind of language that we see in popular politics these days, because that's what they respond to. So being called names is something they're used to.
Well, you're good at that.
That's what I'll do.
And so we will see how it all comes together. But a reminder, it's probably good to make sure that the first responders and emergency services in your area are firing on all cylinders and you have everything that you need in order to have something in case an emergency happens. Big J, the 2 longest losing streaks in college baseball came to an end on Tuesday of this week when New York's Yeshiva University, which has lost 99 straight games going back to 2002, played Lehman College, the losers of their last 42 games, in a doubleheader. Strangely enough, Lehman College won the opening game in extra innings. That snapped their losing streak, and then Yeshiva University, of course, after 100 consecutive losses, ended up winning in the second game of the doubleheader, 9-5, to snap their streak. So the Maccabees now are on a winning streak after losing 100 straight games in college baseball. Isn't it nice? It's a good day to be a Maccabee, Big J.
That's it.
The streak is over, dude. Come on. 100 straight. You lose a C note, and then you finally break it. I bet you they celebrated like winning the World Series when they won that game.
Sad.
I mean, there are probably
What a bunch of
players
losers
on that team that have never won a game in their entire collegiate career.
Yeah, this is going to throw them in all kinds of weird places.
Yeah, to go
They're
right
not
to their
gonna know
head.
how to act after that.
They won't have to ask for or pay for a drink ever on the Maccabee campus after the big win. So congratulations.
You guys won a game, yeah!
Angelica Houston, Big J, one of our national treasures, has disclosed her battle with cancer. She was diagnosed apparently after filming John Wick 3, Parabellum. She's now cancer-free at the 4-year mark. She's very proud of herself. She told People magazine it wasn't something that came lightly. She did not specify the type of cancer that she had, but she did emphasize the importance of not taking life too seriously and finding moments to laugh being some of the reasons why she was able to get through this battle. And she initially kept her condition private for 6 years. She now advocates for openly discussing and celebrating overcoming such challenges. She says the doctors are wonderful, and she's been very lucky. She's happy her family was there to support her. So Angelica Houston's going to be around for a little while after surviving that battle. And thank goodness for that, Big J. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Maybe you should watch John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum tonight in celebration. How say you?
But I'd have to start from the very beginning.
You got time.
No, I don't.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. It is the X Rocks. That's some Nirvana for you, the man who sold the world, here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. I think we've talked about this at least once this week, about how we seem to be more than ever addicted to our cellular phones. When driving, when working, when whatever, it is very difficult for us to not to be staring down at that little brick in our hands. You understand?
Yeah.
And so maybe you make this particular kind of like promise to yourself that you're like, listen, I've got to cut down on my phone usage. It's messing with how present I am in my job. It's messing with how present I am in my relationship, maybe with my kids, whatever the case may be.
With yourself.
I need to get rid of it. And you're like, the second I stop futzing around with my phone, I am definitely going to be more locked in, right?
Yeah.
Think again, my friend.
No.
A new study from the London School of Economics found that even when people put away their phones and they keep them out of reach and they decide they don't want to mess around with them anymore, we just find other things to do to distract ourselves from whatever we're supposed to do, especially when it comes to our personal life and our jobs. So, for instance, if you were to put away those phones, Big J, you'd just be messing around on your computer over and over and over again. That's how you would basically occupy your time at work. With your phone's not there, your computer is.
They're not going to tell me what I'm doing. I'll tell them.
You'd scroll away and just completely disassociate just as much as you do when your phone's in front of you. The simple truth is the phone isn't the problem. It's our habits. It's what we do. It's how we kind of approach things. And that's the problem. Basically, we're so used to checking our devices at this point that we just switch to something else, another screen or whatever, when one is out of sight. For instance, if your phone is charging, on goes the TV, or you're playing video games, or you're scrolling around on the internet on your computer. There's all sorts of different screens that you can mess around with. The phone just happens to be one of the many. You know, Big J?
Yeah.
So, it's not exactly a one-for-one situation. You can't just put down the phone and it's going to fix all your attention deficit issues or the amount of work that you should be doing or any of that stuff. You just simply replace one addiction with another, and that's one of the problems with addiction, Big J. You understand?
Sure.
You roll off of something else, and next thing you know, you completely codependent on something to get you through. So if that phone goes away, next thing you know, you're trolling around on your computer, typing in whatever your favorite website was on the internet and messing around that way.
Now, there is a way to correct that, and that's to be mindful of why you're wanting to put down the phone and then how to address those coping mechanisms as you move on. If you're trying to get over something, it doesn't mean you have to be living this world of addiction and, doing this over and over again.
Exactly what the London School of Economics says, that you have to be cognizant and aware of your habits being the problem and not whatever. We can blame the device if we want, but really what it boils down to is our brain chemistry and how we kind of interact with these devices and how we use that device as something that you want to be, killing your attention span or whatever the case may be. So yeah, you have to change yourself and be cognizant of it before you're able to make any real changes as to, I want to increase my presentness in my family or my relationship or my job. All those things are great to say, but the phone isn't the problem, you are. And that's what you need to change. And it's hard to do that as well. Nobody's saying it's easy, but recognize that, Big J, as they say in all addiction programs, that's the first step. You understand?
Yeah.
And then going from there and wanting help is another thing. So we all know that we're addicted to our phones. We just don't want to treat it like a normal addiction. And we're weird like that. But it most likely is. Morning and just as hard to kick as any other addiction would be, you know?
Absolutely.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, Big J's going to have a nerd alert for you. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the
nerds.
The best in tech and gaming. Big J's Nerd Alert on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Well, all right. Microsoft's annual Summer Xbox Showcase has been set for June 8th. And as in previous years, it'll be a double feature with a presentation dedicated this year to The Outer Worlds 2 airing immediately afterwards. So the Xbox Showcase, which will go down at about 11 o'clock here local time on June 8th, is an event that is digital only and was pre-taped. So you'll have a streamlined type of process. Now, as with before, you've had Starfield in the past and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Directs the last couple years. And the Outer Worlds 2 Direct promises to reveal new gameplay, details about the upcoming RPG, with an inside look at Obsidian Games and insights from its developers. The game was announced in 2021. And it's got its first gameplay reveal during the Game Awards here just a couple months ago. So a lot of people looking forward to this. Some other games that you might see in this Direct is Ninja Gaiden 4 and Sleight of Hand, along with the cozy survival game Winter Burrow, Nick. So we'll find out what those games are come June 8th. Now, over this last weekend, we talked about this here the last couple days. Washington Capitals forward Alexander Ovechkin scored his 895th goal, surpassing Wayne Gretzky, the great one, to become NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. Now, this is why I love EA. A lot of people, they talk crap about EA, but when it comes to the sports games, it's in the game. And EA Sports released a video congratulating Ovechkin and offering in-game rewards in NHL 25. Starting today, players can log on to Hockey Ultimate Team to receive a milestone Ovechkin item, Ovechkin Hut Moments challenges with Grant tokens to upgrade the item. Additionally, EA Sports is adding an $8.95 Ovechkin Hut item, a line that features special art and a 99 overall rating. And that's pretty damn cool. They're also adding a commemorative $8.95 jersey in World of making it all available to players in the hut there. So that's damn cool, I think. And, Madden did this last year when Jason Kelsey retired, creating special things for it. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I'll never disparage them for their ability to push through updates fairly quickly when it comes to significant things in sports and players, and they do a great job with the NFL draft as well. I will always take umbrage with the gameplay, however.
But
now, I love the hockey game, for the record.
Those things, though, it's funny. They can do those, but they won't fix the day-to-day problems that we all complain about.
They won't update franchise in 15 years, but they're happy to put the draft players in there.
I don't know if a lot of people play franchise. That might be part of the problem. All right, Google has started rolling out the loss of pulse detection feature for Pixel Watch 3 devices in the U.S. So this feature does exactly what it sounds like. It checks for your pulse when the watch is on your wrist and will call emergency services if it determines that your pulse has stopped. Now, it debuted in several European countries last year when the watch launched, but it didn't get approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration until February. This feature uses concurrent passive algorithms to check the presence of a pulse at the rate of once a second. Now, if it detects the absence of a pulse, active sensors kick in to check for signals that could indicate false detection, such as if you're no longer wearing the watch. It's only then that the device will enter the stage 1 alert phase, wherein it will send you a haptic notification asking you to tap a prompt that says, "I'm okay and still alive."
Are you alive? Yes or no?
If you're unresponsive, it will ramp up the alerts and add sounds counting down to give you time to respond before it calls emergency services. Now, Google says the feature could save you in instances wherein every second matters, such as when you're having a cardiac or respiratory arrest or when you've gotten poisoned. In cases like those, you can only get immediate help if someone is around there to see it happen. That's not always possible. As Google explains, half of all loss of pulse events related to cardiac arrest are unwitnessed. And with this feature, you could be attended to much more quickly. Nick, this is state of the art, and I think going to save a lot of lives, especially for our elderly family members and things like that, if we can get them to wear these and use them properly. But I mean, that's a game changer right there, and it's the only smartwatch that has this ability right now.
I do not see a downside to that at all.
Yeah. So check out the Google Pixel Watch. I missed my Pixel Watch, Nick. I'm wearing an Apple Watch now.
You're not allowed to use your Pixel Watch anymore?
You can't, because I have an iPhone. Here's my complaint against iPhone. If I had a regular my Google Watch, right, I could use the Google Watch, or I could use a Galaxy Watch, or I could use whatever other smartwatches out there. Apple, you could only use your own freaking Apple Watch. You can't use something else. So that's a complaint that I still remain to have. I don't know how long this Apple thing will last with me, Nick. I'll be honest with you.
Well, you are still carrying around two phones everywhere you go.
I can't let go.
What is the point?
Because I have Animation Domination Throwdown on this one, and I am not moving over. So, hey, there's your nerd alert with a little extra exposition.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, some important stuff, as well as an opportunity for you to get qualified for Sonic Temple with Last Man Standing. It's next on the X.
Here's traffic inside the
Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Researchers at The Ohio State University, Big J, have found that the background music you have playing in your office does matter. And if they don't like the background music that's going on, productivity absolutely goes in the tank. Doesn't matter what genre of music is happening, whether it's upbeat or slow or easy listening or music the whole office can agree on.
Or
Big
Metallica.
If somebody doesn't like it, their actual productivity goes in the tank. For an example, a cashier working at a busy register may prefer slow music to keep calm, but the store manager might think customers need some sort of beat to kind of keep them shopping. Let's go. Let's get them dancing in the aisles.
Which one's important there?
Well, music mismatches link to slacking off and breaking small rules. So do you want to make money or not, Big J?
I want to make money.
Then you might want to figure things out. However, this effect can be combated by letting employees choose their own music or by offering silent areas for breaks. Get them away from the music that they hate, Big J. About 13.5 million Americans work in jobs where background music is constant. And so it certainly is a factor in what you can and can't do. This study did not go into detail whether or not the X is the preferred background music, but I would think it would be, yes?
I mean, I feel like we get a pretty positive feedback on that.
Yeah, I agree. But, I think maybe having an ability to choose your own music is a good thing. However, again, you may be at a job where that's not possible, i.e. a grocery store. You can't have your earbuds in if you want to have good customer service and create your own playlist when you're trying to be the face of that particular place. So there are certain things where that's not possible, but boy, I can understand how it can matter if you're like, man, if I have to hear this Celine Dion song again, I am going to flip out.
Or for me, any country music.
Yeah.
I wouldn't work that job.
I mean,
I'd
listen,
have to quit.
we've all worked jobs, I think, where there's been something going on in the background that either it's on like a loop so that you know what's happening, or it drives you crazy. I remember when I used to, back in the day before I was in radio, I worked at a video store. You remember those, Big J?
Yeah, man.
And so we had a list of movies that was approved for us to play on the actual TVs that were throughout the store. And so when you're working 8 hours a day and you're on like a 5-movie rotation and you're working 40 hours a week, you see certain movies so much that they become movies that you cannot stand anymore. It's one of the reasons why I no longer enjoy the movie Grease, Big J. It's because I've seen it so many times that it's like, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. It has nothing to do with the quality of the movie or the songs or anything like that. It's just one of those things where it just brings back those memories of me in college working at a video store, watching Grease for the 17th time in a matter of 3 days. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory does that for me. I have a whole list of movies that I can't anymore because it was on a loop at the place that I worked. And so I can understand how it could be something that you could get tired of.
You worked at a crappy video store.
No, I mean, listen, it was
Who
supposed
wants
to be
Grease when they come into the video store?
It's supposed to be family friendly and something that everybody
Yeah,
can
that's what
be.
I'm saying.
You know, so yeah, it was one of those things you couldn't put Terminator 2 Judgment Day on it. Although we did later in the evening hours because I was a cool guy, Big J, and I thought that was
You
a
were
good
manager.
watch. Yeah, I was in charge. But during the day, when the possibility of the owners would walk in, you better believe Grease and Willy Wonka were on.
Man, I'd love to meet that Nick.
The 16-year-old Nick that had no business managing anything.
Yeah.
He was an interesting guy. Big J, LeBron James is the all-time NBA scoring king and a 4-time NBA champion. But now he's in the Barbie universe, dude. Mattel announced that the LA Lakers star is the first professional athlete to have a Ken doll released in his likeness. The James doll will be 1 inch taller than the standard Ken doll, you know why, and comes with multiple accessories designed by James. It will set you back $75, and it goes on sale April 14th at Target, Amazon, Walmart, and Mattel Creations. Can I interest you in a LeBron James doll, Big J?
Yeah, man. Sure, why not?
Are Barbies that expensive now, or is this like just a special edition
I
one?
have no idea. I'm out of that market, bro.
I mean, that seems bonkers to me. But if it's like a special collectible item, who the hell knows how this goes? But now LeBron James will have his own Ken doll. Congratulations to LeBron James.
But the real question is, does Ryan Gosling have a Ken doll?
I think he did. I think they put out a movie special version of things back when the movie came out. I believe so. I could be wrong, but you could look that up simple with a Google search, Big J, and tell me if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
Big J, HBO has renewed The Last of Us for a 3rd season, surprising absolutely nobody, but season 2 doesn't debut until Sunday. But you now have an opportunity to know that however season 2 ends, the story will continue with The Last of Us season 3. And so that's getting ready to come out. I've heard good things about season 2. I enjoyed season 1 very much. I've enjoyed these video games very much. So as big of a hit as it is and all the awards that it's won, it's not a surprise they're going to keep this train going. The question soon becomes, anybody that's familiar with the video game series and knows the kind of steps they're taking in season 2, and eventually they're going to run out of material that was covered in the video game. What do they do then? And that becomes a real question mark. Do they end it after season 3? Do they end it after season 4? Do they stretch it out? I mean, my God. So there's lots of questions that I'm sure some of season 2 will answer for us when it gets ready to debut on Sunday. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Did you get an answer to your question, Big J?
Not really.
Okay.
They made a special I am Ken enough shirt for Ken dolls to wear, but I don't see an actual Ryan Gosling Ken doll.
Classic. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, your chance to qualify for Sonic Temple. Last Man Standing is next on the X.
Auto.com.
On 100.3, The X rocks.
Feels so good to get qualified. If you want to go check out Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, that's why we've got Last Man Standing. It's the whole reason it exists, man. To get you qualified to go check out this beautiful 4-day music festival in Columbus, Ohio. We got your airfare, we got your hotel, we got your tickets. You just got to show up, have a good time, and have an unforgettable music experience. Because that's what we do here at the X Big J. Experiences, you understand?
Damn right.
And so we will have a big giveaway party coming up on April 28th at the Barbarian Brewing in Garden City. We are going to give away a ton of prizes there, including the grand prize. But you got to get qualified first. That's the key. Once you're in forever. or at least until the 28th. But you do have to answer Big J's multiple choice question correctly. They're all themed around Sonic Temple, so get on the phone if you want to play. 208-287-1003. You got your question, Big J?
Yeah, I do.
Then let's get a contestant. Hello, the X.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir. You're up first. Best of luck.
What Sonic Temple band is fronted by former Nine Inch Nails member Richard Patrick? Is it Whitechapel, Power Trip, or Filter?
I have no idea. Filter.
Filter is a good guess, sir. That's the answer.
Hail Mary complete. Congratulations. Filter is fronted by one of the Patrick brothers. Way to go. Used to be a 9 Inch Nails before he formed Filter. Congratulations. You can join us on April 28th at a little thing called Barbarian Brewing in Garden City. 2 more chances today to qualify. Jason Drew has your next one at 12:30, and then Adam at 5:10 will hook you up with additional chances to qualify. Thank you to Axio Auto for making this all possible, and it's that easy. Big J, you're a big Filter fan.
Yeah, man.
And when's the last time you saw them live?
I saw them at the Knitting Factory. It's been about 8 years. Probably 6 or 7, maybe 6 or 8 years.
Was that back when they were opening up for that Stone Temple Pilots offshoot?
Yeah, and their sound was terrible.
Yeah, man.
And there was yelling at their merch table. It was weird.
Experiences you never forget, courtesy of the X.
Yep.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, we are going to go to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
What the hell is this?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Today's We're Going to Hell story comes with a lesson, Big J. And that lesson is, hey, sometimes when you're a creep, you pay the price. You understand what I'm saying?
We can only hope so.
Today's story revolves around a man that has been unnamed because it only showed up in a medical journal, but you're going to be, if you're the dude, you're probably pretty thankful that your name isn't attached to this story. So it all starts when a dude that is in his mid-30s pops into a hospital at a VA saying that he hasn't been feeling that great pretty recently. Really, really persistent cough. It's been like 3 weeks and this cough hasn't gone away.
Oh, no.
And he's like, man, and it's gotten really bad in like the last 3 or 4 days. I'm taking cough syrup and it doesn't seem to be like curbing this thing at all. And then I woke up this morning and my eyes are all bloodshot. I mean, like, I just don't feel great. So because of the bloodshot eyes, the medical officials there order in some CT and MRI examinations, and they found some suspicious shadows in his lower right lung. And they're like, okay, maybe that's pneumonia. But as they did a different bronchoscopy down his throat, they found out that the patient suffered from a really rare but serious fungal lung disease.
Fungal lung disease?
Yeah, fungal lung disease. Caused by a really bad infection of his lungs. And so now they're like, okay, where did you get this from? Because this isn't exactly something that happens every day. So now they're like, we got to trigger and figure this out and trace this down and see, okay, what happened here? How did he get this? And after questioning him for a bunch of hours, finally the man came clean. Big J. He had been swiping his neighbor's socks, who is a female, Big J, and then just like sniffing them really, really, really close to his nose and his mouth, really getting in there, inhaling them to get the real scent of what I'm guessing is
her essence,
that woman's sweaty feet. And so they're like, well, okay, that has to be from where it's from. And basically they determined that his female neighbor probably didn't have the best hygiene in the world, and that was the cause of the infection.
Ugh.
See, worn socks contain sweat, salt, and if you place them in a warm and humid environment inside the shoe, that promotes some fungal growth. And so essentially, he was inhaling this woman's foot fungus, and that fungus then grew inside of his lungs. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. Creep being creep got the creeps. I mean, gross.
So, once again, doctors are saying, listen, it's an increase if you inhale dangerous fungus and bacteria. There's a chance that your nose and throat will stop some of this because that's what they're built up to do. But some of it can end up in your lungs, and it can cause fungal infections that have long-term consequences. So it certainly behooves itself not to do those things. And I think we've talked about it, Big J. There's all sorts of fetishes out there that can be from the absolutely crazy to some that are fairly pedestrian, no pun intended. I feel like a foot fetish is fairly middle of the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people have those kind of things. But to steal your neighbor's socks and then, like, get all up in them, you know what I mean?
Well, it could be worse.
Like
you could have been stealing her underwear.
I suppose you're true. God knows what kind of infections you could get then.
Probably have a yeast infection in his lungs.
In his lungs. But, like, if you find yourself pretending you're Crispin Glover from Charlie's Angels and you're sniffing stuff really weird, that's probably a step too far.
Yeah.
When it comes to these kind of things. Everything's okay between consenting adults as long as everybody's aware of the situation. But if you're stealing your neighbor's socks just to get a sniff of them, it's probably like, we got to talk about boundaries, you know?
Yeah, maybe you look yourself in the mirror and go, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
I gave myself a foot infection in my lung.
I need help.
Help me! Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
She a legend.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by Inflation Domination. It's coming up in about an hour. The X Dollar Loan Center, Dennis Dillon Auto Group, and the Advocates Injury Attorneys giving you a chance to take home over $2,000 every single weekday. All you got to do is text in some keywords to get qualified. They're coming your way at 9, 11, 1, and 3. Text it into us, spell it correctly, and you are qualified for our daily drawing of $2,025. Of course, the more the correct words you text in, the better chance you have to win. So you're going to want to listen all the time and text in all those words to make sure your name is in the hopper as much as it possibly can be. It is Inflation Domination. It's all presented by Dollar Loan Center, Dennis Dillon Auto Group, and the Advocates Injury Attorneys. And your first chance to get in is a little after 9 o'clock. So in about an hour, stick around here on the X. Big J, you and I are fashion aficionados. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
We
Big
got
time.
our fingers on the pulse of the fashion industry. But I'll be honest, Big J, neither you or I dress up a whole bunch, do we, buddy?
No, not unless an occasion calls for it.
Do you feel more confident when you have yourself all dressed up, when you're like dressed to the nines? Does it make you feel a little bit sexier, a little bit more full of yourself?
No. The opposite.
The average man feels 67% more confident when wearing their best suit or a tuxedo, according to a survey of Americans. My guess is the other 33% are overweight and don't like it in any way, shape, or form and feel incredibly uncomfortable when they are dressed up. The Talker Research poll done on behalf of a tuxedo place, you wouldn't believe it, Big J, found that 59% think they know what to wear for different wedding dress codes. However, only 53% correctly were able to identify black tie attire. There's simple rules to follow, Big J. If you want to nail the dress code, black or white tie, go with a tuxedo. Formal, wear classic black or navy suit. Casual, tropical, or garden wedding, show up in a tan or blue suit, according to Generation Tux.
Wow.
On average, men own two different suits. Big J, how many suits do you own?
I don't know any.
You don't own a single one?
I have one suit, but it's like 20 years old. So I don't count it because I don't think it fits very well anymore.
When was the last time you wore it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I would say that suit probably needs to be done something with. You don't own that. I have exactly a singular suit, and I only wear it under protest. So I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable dressed up. I don't feel comfortable about anything dressed up. I really don't. I've often said it as a joke, but I mean it. Like 90% of the reason why I got into radio is so that I don't have to dress up every day. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I wish I did, man. But I don't. No, you don't have to apologize to me or anybody. That's just the way that I feel. Big J, we know the problems that the Buffalo Bills have had in the NFL playoffs,
They
correct?
suck.
But Buffalo, New York might just be the most painful sports city in the United States. Now, the Bills have been well documented, but did you know that they have another professional sports team, Big J?
Yeah, they have a hockey team, right?
That's right. You know what they're called?
The Sabres.
Nailed it. They have just missed the NHL playoffs for the 14th consecutive season. Now, that's an NHL record. They are now tied with the New York Jets for the longest active playoff drought in pro sports. So it is a rough set of circumstances there in the Sabres-verse. And don't know if it's going to get better anytime soon, but the bad news continues for them. Speaking of bad news for CBS, Big J. The NCAA championship game seems like it had a pretty good number, but 18.1 million people tuned in for the tournament. That is a 3% decrease year after year. And the NCAA tournament was going the wrong way as it was. So the Final Four games averaged about 15.3 million viewers. That also is down. So there's less people into college basketball, or at least the men's basketball tournament, Big J. And that continues to be a problem. How do you propose to bring people back?
I don't know. I think that's still a lot of people watching.
Sure. No,
Like,
but it's dramatically low than what it used to be.
Well, I think it's, again, there's no personalities that you can really hold on to. I mean, the only thing that I'm a casual observer. I didn't watch any of the games, but I only heard one name, Cooper Flagg, right?
Who's probably going to be the number one
The
pick.
guy from Duke. And so, there just aren't a lot of personalities and names for the NCAA men's basketball thing. Whereas, last year with the women's NCAA, you had Caitlin Clark. And Reese. That was all that we heard about.
Sure.
I think you have to have that to draw in those other more casual fans who want to pay attention. And you don't have that continuation with NIL and all the portal and players jumping over. And, there's hard to create that loyalty for people to be really interested in, I think. And that's part of the problem of the NCAA basketball.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
I will say that maybe you're right, but there hasn't been what's the last really
Zion
big
Williamson.
Yeah, you're talking 12 years ago now.
Yeah, it's 12 years already?
Yeah, he's been in the league for a long
Holy
time.
cow.
And so, you get to a point where I believe that one of the problems is, and maybe this is an NIL discussion, but this year was really boring as far as the tournament was going.
Yeah, it was very chalk.
Yeah, and so there's no Cinderella story. There's no underdog. There's nobody to truly root for when all your number ones, number twos, and number threes advance. And that's part of what made the NCAA tournament fun was you never knew who was going to win, and it was fun to pick these because there were upsets along the way. And over the last 3+ years, that has not been the case. It's all been really, really, really kind of like it's been seeded. And that, I guess, it is a testament to the teams playing as well as they should, but also it makes things like that and tournaments like that really, really uninteresting. And I'm not saying you have to fix that. I'm just telling you, I think that's certainly a problem with it. It's a lot more fun when Loyola University makes the Final Four than it is when it's Duke, Auburn, Florida, and everybody else.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. I'm sure that's a big contributor.
Morning After with Nick,
You're right, Nick.
And Big J. Well, so are you, buddy. There's your important stuff. We got your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Hey, man, we got a bunch of shows coming to the Knitting Factory here in and the Rev Center, but this one in particular coming April 22nd to the Knitting Factory. Pop Evil, the What Remains tour with Devour the Day. God, we love those guys. Return to Dust and Oni, a couple new bands to us. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic show. We're going to get you there for free. You're going to win these tickets by beating Nick in Pop Culture Smackdown.
Pretty easy yesterday. If you think you got what it takes, 208-287-1003 is the number that you need to call if you would like to play. Pop Culture Smackdown is the game. Big J has the questions. Hopefully you win. Let's go to the phones. Hello, the X.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, man? What's your name?
Tim.
All right, Tim. You're up first. Good luck.
What's the name of the chainsaw-wielding killer in the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Is it Leatherface, Pinhead, or Freddy Krueger?
Leatherface.
That is correct. Nick, what's the name of the FBI trainee who works with Dr. Hannibal Lecter in Silence the Lambs?
Clarice.
Clarice is correct.
Right.
What long-running talent show was hosted by Ed McMahon way back in the day? Was it America's Got Talent, Star Search, or American Idol?
America's Got Talent?
Ooh.
Sorry.
Sorry,
That
man.
show came on the air after Ed McMahon passed away. Hello, the X.
The FBI trainee who works with
God, we sound good, Big J.
It's a good delay.
Hello, the X.
Safe.
Hi.
Hello?
Hi, here comes Big J with your question.
What long-running talent show is hosted by Ed McMahon? Is it America's Got Talent, Star Search, or American Idol?
The first one?
America's Got Talent? No, not quite.
Side question, do you have any idea who Ed McMahon is?
No.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the problem. But thank you for playing. You're going way back.
Sorry, man.
Like the 90, you had to be alive in 1984.
I remember
to know
it.
This. Of course you do. You're
How's it
ancient.
going?
Hello, the X. Hey, here comes
How's
Big
it
J.
going?
Good. What long-running talent show is hosted by Ed McMahon? Is it America's Got Talent, Star Search,
Star
or...
Search.
There we go. Thanks.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Nick, this group of survivors who are trapped in the maze in this franchise, the Maze Runner movies, they have a nickname. What are they called?
Never read the books, never saw the movie, have zero idea
Can't
about
believe you
anything.
never saw any of the movies.
It did. I saw the trailer. Didn't interest me. Looked like.
But we had a movie podcast when it was happening.
But we didn't see it for the movie podcast, did we?
Weird.
Hey, congratulations,
Take a
man!
guess.
You, the Mazers.
Yes, that's right.
No.
No, it's the Gladers.
The what?
The Gladers.
Gladers?
Gladers.
What does it mean?
They hang out in the Glades.
Oh, like the Everglades?
Yeah, the yeah. I don't know what it means.
Oh, well, you act like I should know it.
Yeah.
And then you have no
Because
idea.
you know everything pop culture.
No, I've never seen any of the Twilight movies or any of the
Oh, good. Let
Maze
me
Runner
write that
movies
down.
or any of that stuff. But,
Twilight questions.
hey, congratulations, man. You got yourself all set up with some Pop Evil tickets. Hang on just 1 second. We will hook you up with those and make sure you're all set. The morning after with Nick and Big J. We got your headlines. They're next on the X.
Your daily update of really stupid stuff. It's time for headlines on the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Headlines brought to you by Watson's Mystery Cafe and Spirits. It is time for Be Our Guest. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, xrock.com. We're kicking it off. You can grab $50 to Watson's Mystery Cafe and Spirits for only $25 while supplies last. So grab them while you can on Friday beginning at 9 o'clock. It's a chance to check out Boise's one-of-a-kind blend of dining, drinks, and live mystery theater. There's all sorts of cool things that happen, whether you want to check out one of their murder mysteries or you want to check out some live comedy or you want to check out their escape room. There's all sorts of cool things that can happen in there. Perfect for date nights, group outings, or just doing something different. So check out one of the great experiences courtesy of Be Our Guest. It happens at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, xrock.com, courtesy of Watson's Mystery Cafe and Spirits. Headlines are as follows, Big J. Historic. Plumber wanted, and they're back.
Plumber wanted.
Due to space exploration, Big J, there are now, as we sit here talking, 96 bags of human waste on the moon. That's poop, Big J.
Is it tied down or something?
Well, listen, they had the light in their spacecraft, so when they went to the bathroom on the spacecraft, they would put it in a big bag and just dump it on the moon, you understand? But now NASA's like, it's probably not great that we're just leaving our crap everywhere, literally, you know?
I mean, at this point, aliens could get it and then do terrible things to us.
Before you know, we got multiple John Glenns invading the Earth. So NASA is looking for another solution, and they want to pay $3 million to somebody to figure it out. The agency are going to be reviewing applicants of the Lunar Recycle Challenge. That's to see what people can come up with for having the best way to recycle human waste that now currently sits on the moon.
I love it when NASA does this.
NASA is committed to sustainable space exploration, and if we prepare for further human space missions, we got to figure out what to do with our pee and poops, Big J, because we can't just leave it there. And so this is going to be part of the ongoing process to figure out what to do with our waste and see how we can basically deal with the waste that's already out there.
Didn't Hollywood already solve this problem?
Well, they did on Mars, and they made potatoes with it, but we need something else with stuff that's kind of older stuff on the moon already. You understand? That's how Matt Damon survived in The Martian, but
Yeah.
That is not a sustainable solution for the poops that have been there since the 1960s. You understand?
No, I'm just saying, how hard is it going to be to clean that up? There can't be that much. It sounds like going forward, they're trying to figure out what do we do with all this waste?
Well, they also need to figure out ways to recycle it. They don't want to just pick it up and bring it back. You know what I mean? That doesn't do what they need to do. If they want to make it sustainable, they got to figure out a way to recycle it in some usable way. Historic or they're back?
They're back.
How about real life being a little bit stranger than fiction? The dire wolf that was the mascot of House Stark in HBO's Game of Thrones, thanks to modern science, Big J, it's back to life.
Yep.
Genetic engineering company called Colosso Biosciences announced the birth of 2 pups. Now, dire wolves lived during the Ice Age, and this birth could mark the first successful de-extinction of an animal. The team took DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull and made healthy direwolf puppies from that. It also sufficiently advanced technology, basically made sure it's like, this isn't magic, this is actually science. The private company also is looking to bring back the woolly mammoth, so now we're like, I don't know, a year or 2 away from Jurassic Park actually happening, I would guess. Finally, the return of the duck-billed platypus, Big J.
Well, no, not necessarily.
The dodo.
In some of these, you need species that are close to it in order to, like, for the dire wolves, they use gray wolf. For the woolly mammoths, they're going to be using an elephant.
Sure.
So they have to have, like, a base of a similar species or along the line to be able to make it happen.
Well, one could argue like iguanas and lizards are kind of close to dinosaurs. Although then again, now what we know about dinosaurs, a lot more bird-like features and feathers involved than we would have anticipated.
Yeah.
And so who knows? Plus, I mean, is anybody going to want to see a Jurassic or a Tyrannosaurus Rex covered in feathers? I mean,
That's not as much fun.
right. It's not as scary. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're just a big bird.
So we want these scientists to design the stuff that we thought of what they look like.
Yeah, like
just
our-
like Jurassic
Our
Park.
pop culture
Yeah.
has given us the vision of these things. Thank you. If my direwolf doesn't look like a direwolf from Game of Thrones, not
Yeah.
interested. Go away. Go lay down somewhere. Wrap it up with historic. Big J, the Microsoft Windows 95 startup chime has officially been added to the Library of Congress National Recording Registry. Thank God. They describe this playlist, or they describe the registry as the Evolving Nations playlist. And what they do is they keep audio treasures worthy of preservation. So the other new additions include Aloha OE by the Hawaiian Quintet, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, the original Broadway cast album of Hamilton, and of course, as you know, 2 years ago, our episode of the Morning After podcast was added to the National Library of Congress last fall. So it's also something you can check out when you're in Washington, D.C.
That'd be great if it was true.
It's not?
It should be. No, it's not.
Was that like spam
You
press release
just
that I got?
made that up.
My God, what a bummer. Well, listen, goals. How about that? Hashtag goals. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on everything. Your chance to win some cash from us, a little thing called inflation domination. It's next on the X. Disturbed, I will not break here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. But maybe, just maybe, when it's this nice outside, you might go camping. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah, we live in a state where, doing stuff in the outdoors is pretty prevalent. And it's not, I guess it's odd. Neither of us, Nick, are into camping.
No.
Right.
No.
I missed out on that. I don't know. I feel like in everybody's development as they grow up, there's a pivotal point in time of when you decide you want to do something and not do it. And for me, it was like age 8 years old when we went camping without my dad, and it was my mom and my sister. And we didn't make it to the campsite. We slept in the blazer because it was raining and it was a disaster out. It was the worst camping trip ever. And after that, I never really got into it. But camping right now is surging in popularity, Nick.
Sure.
And it's being driven by Gen Z and millennials, the younger kids. And according to a report from KOA, that's Campgrounds of America, 61% of these new campers last year were these Gen Z millennials. And the young campers, they're splurging, Nick, like they do on everything. Where they get this money, I don't know. But they're splurging on gear, food, and more with daily spending at $266. So baby boomers, they only spend about $130. These new campers aren't roughing it with the sleeping bags either. They're into glamping. And that's kind of how I like to do it. They prefer to stay in cozy cabins and fancy tents with all the amenities.
Yeah, listen, if we're talking about getting a cabin somewhere, all for it. Let's camp away.
I guess they're considering that camping.
That's what when we think about that, when I think about camping, it's you on the ground sleeping in a little tiny tent with a fire outside, and you're doing everything else you need to do in the wild. That was camping back when we were kids, not to sound ancient, but that's what it was. The whole family, you'd have the kids' tent, you'd have the adults' tent, and you would go camping in the middle of nowhere, and that would be how you would spend the night, with a fire and doing s'mores and cooking hot dogs and those kind of things. But that's not what camping is anymore. It's a whole excursion. And listen, if you're spending $300 a day on anything, you're not roughing it by any stretch of the imagination. You might as well just stay home. But I understand the willingness to getaway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I've got a guy I grew up with, one of my close friends, his brother who we went to school with. He's got a YouTube outdoor channel called Angry Owl Outdoors, and he goes over all the camping gear, and very smart dude, and spent a lot of his time in the outdoors there. Completely different. I mean, that's the way when we think camping, like roughing it and getting outdoors versus the glamping thing for sure. And but I guess I'm also influenced by the wife. She likes to glamp. If we're gonna go somewhere,
It's high society or nothing.
Yeah, we want high society. I can't blame them at all. But thank goodness there's still KOA campgrounds out there.
Yep, we visited them several times, Big J, when we took our RV trip around the country.
Yeah, we had to dump that dirty stuff.
The brown water. It had to go somewhere, my friend.
Two guys who don't know anything of what they're doing. Where does this go? What's this hose for?
We did it, though, didn't we?
Yeah, we made it.
Yep. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We got your bad impressions. They're next on the X Rocks.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Let's hook it up, baby. Pop Evil's coming to town April 22nd. That's a Tuesday, friends. At the Knitting Factory. Come along with them. Devour the Day, Return to Dust, and Oni. All of those bands, all for you for free if you can figure out bad impressions today. Very famous person.
208-287-1003. Should be pretty easy today if you want these tickets. You just have to figure out the famous person Big J's trying to impersonate with 3 clues coming your way. They all should point you in the direction. And if you can do that, these tickets become yours. Hopefully that makes your Thursday and your life starts to turn around. It's a real turning point for you. Up for grabs. 208-287-1003. Big J, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hello, the X. Oh,
no!
Okay, fine. Whatever, dude.
Coward.
Hello, the X.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, man. You're up first. Good luck.
I started.
Before we start, can I say one thing? Can I just say happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Tracy?
Oh, you did it. You did it. Good
Birthday
job.
shout out.
I
Good job.
did it.
Here we go. I started booty shaking and dancing on a show called In Living Color.
Jennifer Lopez.
There you go.
The Fly Girl, absolutely right. Hang on one second, man.
Remember?
Good job. The Fly
Remember
Girls?
In Living Color?
Yeah, I remember in Living Girls, too. What were clues
The
2 and
best.
3?
I love Living Girls. Not only am I a recording artist, but an actress starring in movies like Out of Sight, Anaconda, and Hustlers. And last, I was married to Ben Affleck twice.
Third time's the charm. Why is Jennifer Lopez in the news?
That's right. She's in the news because guess what? She's set to return as the host and performer for this year's American Music Awards. That's happening in Las Vegas on Memorial Day, streaming on CBS's Paramount Plus and on CBS. This is the second time she'll be hosting the ceremony following her role in 2015 when she opened the show way back when for her Grammy-nominated hit Waiting for Tonight. So she's back in it. She's also been busy after this divorce nonsense. She's got a couple movies coming out, The Godmother and Office Romance, both in production.
Hey, what was the name of the Netflix movie she made not too long ago where she's the space explorer? It starts with an E, and I can't remember it. But I watched it, but it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty... damn it. I don't know. I'll look
Atlas?
It up. Atlas, that was
Atlas,
it. Doesn't
yeah.
start with an E at all. But I thought it was actually half decent.
I haven't checked it out.
It's a pretty decent movie. I do recommend that if you get a chance. Again, it's a Netflix movie, which means much like me, you will enjoy watching it and then a week later not remember a damn thing about it.
Apparently,
not
yeah.
even the title.
Got a great cast, though. Simi Lou and Sterling K. Brown.
It's like I said, it's a good movie. I recommend it.
Mark Strong? Look
Yeah.
out, man.
The strongest of all marks. 208-287-1003 is the number he called to win. We are going to do a little bit of a wrap-up for the show. That's next on the X Rocks. Remember when they played a sold-out show?
Yeah, it was just a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's Monday. That's Hollywood Undead. That is Hollywood Forever here on The Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's going to wrap up our show for today. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Big J gave us a nice solid nerd alert. We talked about how even if you take away your phone, it doesn't mean you're going to be productive because you're just hooked to distractions. You just click on your computer a whole bunch anyway. We warned you the dangers of picking up stranger socks and then inhaling them. You might get some sort of foot fungus in your lungs. And we even gave away some tickets to Pop Evil. I would say that's a pretty eventful Thursday show, Big J.
Hella eventful.
Very nice.
Yes.
That leaves you with the floor.
Yes, Nick, I want to remind our lovely listeners that if you want to see us do the show, you can do that on our YouTube page. We podcast the show every day, video style at 1003 The X Rocks on YouTube. And yesterday, as we were walking out of the studio, one of our expensive cameras, took a tumble and exploded on the floor.
Yeah, it was It was one of those things where we saw it in like slow motion, and then by the time we reacted, it was just in pieces.
Yeah.
And so RIP to that camera. It did some great work. It walked so this one could run. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah. Easily replaced.
Make sure you check. It was a terrible eulogy right there at the end. But make sure you check out the video version of the podcast, please, and thank you. It's going to do it for us. Jason Drew is coming in next. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. It's the X Rocks.
This is more